In today's video, I'm going to be counting down my top 10 personal favorite roller coaster manufacturers, and this video is just so hard to make. Like, it's so hard to make a best manufacturers because there's way too much to put into consideration to try to figure out which roller coaster manufacturer is the quote-unquote best. But if you're asking about personal favorites, this is just my opinion, this is just my list, so please feel free to list your favorites in the comment section because this is just my opinion once again. Alright, but anyways, guys, let's get started. With the number 10 spot, we have VEKOMA, and the reason why is just these new generation VEKOMAs look absolutely sick. I'm talking about Lek Coaster, I'm talking about Formula, I'm talking about Fly at Fantasyland, I'm talking about these Shockwave roller coasters. If VEKOMA keeps this up and they build something big and absolutely wacko like a hyper coaster, and they knock it out of the park, I truly believe VEKOMA is going to be a top 3 manufacturer within the next 5 to 7 years if parks buy the rides. That's just my opinion. Let's move on to the number 9 spot. At number 9, we have Aerodynamics, and I mean, come on, it's Aero. They revolutionized the roller coaster industry. I mean, yeah, some of their rides are just so meh, like all these Aero loopers and stuff. Some of them are really good, like Tennessee Tornado, Loch Ness Monster. But I mean, they revolutionized the steel roller coaster industry. They have the first modern day inversion. They have the first modern day hypercoaster. They also have the first modern day 4D roller coaster, which I'm sure they didn't really have 4D coasters way back when. But I mean, just they also have some really crazy rides like Magnum XL, X2. They also built Eagles Fortress and the original Bat at Kings Island. And I truly think Aerodynamics revolutionized the roller coaster industry, therefore they're coming in at number 9. So now at the number 8 spot, we have S&S. And the reason why S&S is coming in so high is because, well, basically, S&S has balls. Like, they just think about these crazy, like, weird prototype rides that no one would ever really think of doing, and they knock them out of the park. Ijaneka looks like a world-class roller coaster. Same with Dinoconda. Both these rides were kind of taken from X2, but that's not the point. Also, Dodonpa looks absolutely bonkers. We're getting Steel Curtain and Max Force next year, which look to be great rides, both of them. The thing about S&S is that they take these crazy concepts and they knock them out of the park. Plus, they do some really good air-launched roller coasters. So now at the number 7 spot, we have GCI. And this is where things start to get really close for me. Now, GCI, I haven't really held GCI too close to my heart. I love their roller coasters. I absolutely love Thunderhead. White Landing is fun. Gwazi was meh. But GCI just builds some of the most fun roller coasters out there. And I mean, talking about some of the best coasters out there, I mean, Wood Coaster, freaking Python, Bamboo Forest, freaking Jungle Dragon, Renegade, all these insane rides that are built by GCI do look to be some of the best wooden roller coasters in the world. A lot of them have a similar goal, which is just to kind of go through some bank turns and throw some surprise ejector in there. That's the general consensus about GCI. GCI is an awesome manufacturer, and there's no doubt about that. So now coming in at the number 6 spot, we have B&M. And this is a sad day for B&M fanboys because personally, their rides are great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Kumba is my favorite B&M that I've ridden. Montu is also wacko. You have Mako, which was so fun. Raptor, which is really good. And they've built some really good old school rides. They also built some rides with a lot of floater airtime. I mean, they have such good variety. However, B&M isn't really setting the bar any higher than it already is. They're kind of like lowering the bar, if anything. They're building a lot of these like graceful, floaty, just meh rides that aren't really anything special, which is okay because if you consider the best manufacturer, I would honestly say B&M is one of the best manufacturers. But in terms of my personal favorites, B&M just doesn't really line up with my preferences. I feel like B&M is kind of going in a path that I'm not really inclined to when it comes to things that I like in roller coasters, but nonetheless, B&M is still a great manufacturer. Alright guys, so now breaking into the top 5, coming in at the number 5 spot is actually MACK Rides, and this might be a little bit surprising to you guys, but MACK Rides is just a great manufacturer. They build some really fun launch roller coasters with some really good inversions, lots of variety, lots of ejector airtime, but the one problem that a lot of enthusiasts like kind of bring up about MACK rides is that their rides aren't very intense compared to some other rides out there. But I mean, that's perfectly fine because MACK rides does their own thing and they do it very well. For the most part, they build very smooth and just so fun rides. We're getting Copperhead Strike next year. We're getting a pretty nice taste of what Mock Rides has to offer. Hopefully we see some more Mock Rides coasters in the US soon. And one more thing to note about Mock Rides is that they actually have some really nice variety. They do hyper coasters, they do multi-launches. They're not doing all sorts of these crazy spinning coasters. They're doing family coasters. Mock Rides is really in it to win it right now, and I believe they're one of the best manufacturers in the business right now. So coming in at number 4 might be a bit of a shocker. This is actually GERSTLAUER, and GERSTLAUER makes some pretty crazy rides. I'm talking about rides like Schwerteskernan, Junker, Monster, rides of that nature. They all just look so big and just so powerful. Rides like the Smiler, even Takabisha and its clone coming next year. I truly think GERSTLAUER is an underrated roller coaster manufacturer for the most part. I mean, their rides for the general consensus are actually very intense for the most part. And a lot of their coasters are very similar. That's the one main flaw that I'll give them. However, they do still have some other models. They have like a spinning coaster model. They have some family coasters out there. The general consensus is that these rides are more intense than Mock's rides, and I have to give them the slight edge for that. Alright guys, and we've reached the top 3, and you guys might find this to be the biggest shocker on this list. At number 3, we have Gravity Group and CCI. And I've never really ridden a CCI, and I've only ridden one Gravity Group roller coaster. So I might be a little bit like biased against or towards Gravity Group / CCI. But man, do these coasters kick some butt. I truly believe in terms of like strict wooden roller coaster manufacturers, these guys have to be the best. I mean, just the Voyage alone is enough to put these guys on this list. The Voyage just looks straight incredible. I mean, that looks like one of the best, if not the best wooden roller coaster in the world. And they also have some crazy CCI roller coasters like Legend, Raven, Ghost Rider, Boulder Dash. All these rides just look like they throw you around. They give you some crazy good laterals and some awesome ejector airtime. These all look like they will make some really good night rides. And overall, I just find these Gravity Group Woodies to be really intense. I'm excited to get on some more of them in the future. Alright guys, and now we've reached the top 2, and you guys know what the top 2 is. It's kind of obvious at this point if you're a coaster enthusiast. However, please bear with me. This might be unpopular, but just go ahead and bear with me. At the number 2 spot, we have RMC, and if you would have asked me earlier this summer, I would have said these guys are number 1 by far. And the thing about RMC is that they haven't built a bad roller coaster. Like, compared from their worst to their best, like the worst roller coaster by RMC probably isn't nearly as good as their best. However, these guys just haven't made a bad roller coaster yet. A lot of their roller coasters do kind of have the same, like the similar nature, just trying to get you out of your seat as much as they can. These rides just are filled with ejector airtime and some really crazy elements and inversions and all sorts of good stuff. And I mean, RMC is just dominating the coaster industry. I feel that RMC has one of the brightest futures ahead for them because these guys make some incredible rides. I think RMC has a shot at being one of the best manufacturers in the world, if not the best within the next few years. And coming in at the number 1 spot, we have INTAMIN Amusement Rides. And you know, the reason behind this, I kind of thought INTAMIN was dying out just a little bit because, I mean, they've built some great rides in the past. Like, I mean, Top Thrill Dragster. I'm just naming these off the top of my head. Expedition G-Force is a masterpiece. You have El Toro, which is crazy. I mean, you have some other great rides out there and some other incredible launch roller coasters. I mean, iSpeed, Maverick, and Millennium Force, which revolutionized the coaster industry. I mean, just these guys have just done so much for the coaster industry, and I truly think these guys are my personal favorite manufacturer. They build so many different types of rides. They do build some like more of the floaty type rides, and they also do some like powerful launches. They do rides that just try to throw you around. They do crazy prefabricated wooden roller coasters. But if you would have asked me earlier this summer, I would have said RMC came out on top. However, INTAMIN is still just booming across the world. They're doing lots of 10 inversion roller coasters right now. But also in 2021, I believe, they're building another launch roller coaster at Park Asterix, which looks like it's going to be crazy. And then the Walibi Belgium Hyper looks like it could be one of the best roller coasters in the world. So that still proves that INTAMIN is on top of their game. Therefore, INTAMIN is my number 1 roller coaster manufacturer, and it is very close with RMC. I could honestly swap them back and forth and be okay with it. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think of this list. Be sure to list your favorite manufacturers in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you all later. Peace out.